Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 4 of season 18 of the Xbox One 2019 F3 League, where today we're here at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And obviously last week was certainly not a race to remember from my personal perspective. Obviously if you did miss out on that video, yeah, I would say go back and watch that video just so you can learn what not to do on F1 2019. But yeah, I think the less spoke about that the better at the moment. And I came into Baku round 4 of the season hungry, you know. These next 3-4 races, Baku, Spain, Monaco and Canada, 4 really strong tracks for me on the whole, so really excited to be jumping into these. I'm just trying to put the first 3 rounds behind me and jumping into this one. You can instantly see, struggling in qualifying, my teammate there, Jamie, actually disconnected on his qualifying lap, so completely got in the way, and then when he left the session his car completely disappeared there, and that, yeah, unfortunately screwed my first lap of the session, so really not too happy with that one at the end of the day. But it'll continue on, still plenty of time in the session to try to get a run in here. We are actually going to ride on board with my fastest qualifying lap right at the dying stages of the session. You can see just over a minute left on the clock as we get ready for my third and final run here for qualifying. And pace, I'll be honest with you, felt really strong coming into that one. You know, we were getting consistent high 37s, you know, a few low 38s in there, everything like that. And honestly, the aim was just trying to get, you know, a good clean lap in sort of a mid to low 138 was probably going to be the aim. You can see coming through the first couple of quarters, so actually a tiny bit of time down on my previous best. There was quite a big mistake towards the end of the run, as I'm sure you guys will see on the Delta, and break it down in towards turn 3 right at the 100 meter board there. It feels too late to brake, but the car will do it there, and trying to get as close to the wall on the exit as possible. Then just before the 50 meter board, as you head in through turn 4 and then down in towards turn 5, when we brake it just after the 100 meter board there, once again trying to get the car turned in nice and tidy there. I personally prefer to brake quite early and get the car rotated through to try and give yourself a bit of a better run down this next short straightaway there, and trying to attack the curbs through the next couple of corners we go then, as we head in towards the infamous turn 9 castle section here around this track. They almost clipped the walls both on the entry and on the exit there. That was not the best run that I've had through there in a very long time. You can see making up a big chunk of time as we head in towards the next couple of corners of the lap here, and you can see X-Power currently at the top of the leaderboard there with a 1 minute 37.899, I think, as we head down the hill once again. They're trying to avoid the curb and get the good drive off the exit there, and now braking just after the 100 meter board in through what is really the final proper corner on the lap, especially in qualifying there. You can see we've got a really good run on the exit down through the fast key, trying to screw off as little speed as possible there. You can see just losing a little bit of the run that I had. You can see we're still making up a little bit on the Delta. Unfortunately, we just dropping back ever so slightly as we make the long run down towards the start finish line there, and it is going to be a 1 minute 38.060 there. And yeah, unfortunately X-Power, a fantastic lap by him, sneaking down into the 37s. We certainly had the pace for it, but just couldn't perform right when it mattered there. And yeah, fantastic job done by him to get, what's that, the 4th different pole sitter so far this season. I think we've definitely had the best qualifying record of everyone so far. You know, we've had 3 front row starts. Our worst qualifying position has been a 4th place, but then you've got to remember, obviously a lot of people have gone for the alternate strategy and everything like that, which has obviously kind of skewed it in my favour a little bit as well. But you've got to try and take the positives from these races. We ride on board with Humperdinck coming down through the final couple of corners there, because he's currently down in P8 just behind Vulcan, or a second off Vulcan actually at the moment. A very spread out field ready for this Grand Prix. He makes the run down to the start finish line there. He is going to improve by 7/10 of a second, but obviously no places in the process there, and he is going to be starting down in, what was that, P8, ready for this Grand Prix there. And yeah, happy with my qualifying performance on the whole. Would have liked to get it on pole, but you know, still there is a long race ahead of us here. Luckily for me as well, Stewie is not racing this week, so that is a big chance for both myself and Humperdinck. Try and take some big points out of him as well there. But yeah, like I said, a very spread out grid there. Just 3 cars, well, 2 cars within a second of pole position there. Jamie Hampton and Kez sort of in a bit of a weird no man's land ahead of Vulcan and Humperdinck, obviously on a set of those medium compound tyres here. And it was a real debate about whether you wanted to make the mediums to hards or the softer hard strategy work. As you can obviously tell, I had gone for the mediums to hard compound strategy, and I was really considering trying to do a double medium stint in this race, but ultimately I would end up, you know, although I'd put it through on the strategy, the game would re-recommend the softs to hard, so that's what I'd just end up going for at the end of the day there. So yeah, we are almost ready for the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A lot to decide coming into this race. You know, fuel as well is always a really, really big, big sort of decision to make around this track. We've not quite got it right a lot of the time so far this season. Bahrain even, is one for me that I'll remember. I probably didn't put enough fuel in the car, which really did cost me in the second half of the Grand Prix. So we've gone with 1.8 spare laps of fuel ready for this one, and we're almost ready for the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Round 4 of the season. We've had 2 podiums, and obviously last time, really not a good result, so I wanted to come back with a bit of a vengeance and try to get back onto at least the podium streak that we'd started right at the beginning of the season. Hopefully we can try and build up that momentum once again. Ready for the next 4 rounds of the World Championship. Like I said, 4 really, really strong tracks for myself on the whole as well. So we are almost ready then on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Last couple of cars slotted into place, and we are ready then for the start of round 4 of the season. The 5 lights are coming on now for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix even I should say, and it's lights out. And away we go. That's always reassuring that I can't even get the right track, but we do get a good run down in towards turn 1. Have a look up the inside of X-Power. Just clip the curbs on the inside. Actually, a tiny bit of wheel-to-wheel contact made between the powers there. X-Power does hold on right around the outside. As we heading towards turn 2, though, he's going to completely misjudge the braking point and run way too deep there, not accounting for the cold tyres there. And that's going to be myself straight up into the lead of this Grand Prix. Joker is going to be able to follow me through as well there. And I think X-Power has, I'm guessing, picked up some damage in that one as well there. So yeah, really not the start to the race that he would have wanted. I think that's BOR Hamilton as well, now going to be able to slot himself up into P3 of this Grand Prix there. So yeah, really, well, an ideal start for me, able to slot up into the lead. And now we need to try and build up an early advantage in this Grand Prix there. But yeah, X-Power, not too sure what happened coming down in towards turn 2 there. Really, yeah, I'm guessing just completely misjudged his braking point. And unfortunately, that would not be the ideal start to the race that he would have wanted from his first pole position of the season. But obviously, the opening couple of laps of this race, really, really about trying to get into a rhythm there. Obviously, everyone a bit cautious going through turn 8 for the first time around. The potential of a pile-up as well, as you don't want to be the guy to cause it as well. But I do think everyone made it through nice and tidy there. Jamie, unfortunately, my teammate, got caught out right at the start of the Grand Prix there. Really, I think he got spanned down at turn 1 there. He was lagging around a bit. So unfortunately for him, he unfortunately, yeah, would drop down right through to the rear of the field here. But as we come through the final couple of corners of lap 1, though, we have been able to get a nice tidy lap there, making a bit of a mistake as we head through the final sort of proper braking zone corner of the lap there, down right at the final turn. You can see Joker still in the slipstream here. He's making a long run down towards turn 1 here, but obviously it being the start of the Grand Prix, we've got quite a bit of ERS and fuel to play with nonetheless in this Grand Prix. Obviously set the fastest lap and half a second clear as we head over the start-finish line at the end of lap 1 here. And yeah, like I said, Baku, it's so critical, and I know this is such a big meme as well, but you really do have to be alert on a street circuit here. And you've got to be able to settle down and really sort of spot your braking points nice and quickly in this Grand Prix, or you are set for a very, very long afternoon here. And like I said, spotting the braking points, much easier said than done there. You can see really misjudging as we head down in towards turn 1. They're trying not to panic, but yeah, unfortunately we did throw away a good handful of time there, a good sort of 6-7 tenths to Joker behind him. We have built up a 1.4 second margin at the end of lap 2, and unfortunately that's going to bring him right back into play once again here. So yeah, like I said, we really do need to try and settle down in this Grand Prix and try to get into a good rhythm nice and early on there. And turn 1 was one of the only places that I'd sort of struggled a little bit for consistency, and luckily, with it being the race, everything to play for, you don't quite practice with the same sort of mindset as you do in the race. We were really trying to get it, hammered into my mind in the early stages that we did need to try and settle down, focus on our braking points, and really focus in the early stages of this race. Both myself and Joker that would dive it into the pits on the end of lap 6 here, dive it in for our first and hopefully only pit stop of the Grand Prix, and a really tidy pit stop there. 2.5 seconds online is certainly something that I can walk away quite happy with there. And you can see Joker lost a big chunk of time in the pit lane there, so I'm not too sure if he messed around with the gears or something like that, but we do come back at the pit lane up in P3 of this Grand Prix, so that is really ideal of the start of this race there. And we've actually come out ahead of my main rival Humperdinck there. I think he got caught out at the start of the race, so having that pit stop advantage over him already in this race was absolutely critical here. But we've still got a long way to go here. 20 laps still of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix to try and navigate here and there over the next couple of laps. Once again, obviously, really just trying to get ourselves into that rhythm. You can see Schweiz now, I think it's pronounced Schweiz. He did tell me off after last week there, I got it wrong, so hopefully I'm pronouncing that now correct, buddy. At least I hope I am. Anyway, there, as you can see, coming out on towards the front straight away once again here with the slipstream overtake mode. I don't think Schweiz is going to try and do anything in terms of defense, defending anywhere there, because we are obviously on very different strategies in the early stages of this race there. And with the DRS as well, there's nothing he's really going to be able to do on the run down towards turn 1 there, and we now slot ourselves back up to P2 of this Grand Prix. But Vulcan, nearly an 8-second lead already in this race there. Really someone that came in as a bit of a reserve, I think, after the opening couple of rounds of the season, and even at China managed to go from right in the very back to 3rd place in that Grand Prix. So he is certainly, the battle so far has been between myself, Humperdinck, and Stewie. Perhaps Vulcan is certainly going to try and get himself involved in this one. He's certainly got the pace for it. Nonetheless, whether he's got the consistency, we'll have to find out over the next couple of rounds there. But yeah, he certainly seems like he was going to be, the 4th guy in the battles in these races in the early stage of the season. But that's not, discounting a few of the other guys as well here. X-Power, Joker as well in this race as well. Jamie, we've seen him as well here. But you can see lap 10 though, Vulcan still leading the way. I was about to make my life a little bit more difficult there. Unfortunately, a horrible, stupid mistake. Dinked the front wing there. Yellow damage, not quite as bad as it used to be on F1 2018, but still not really ideal in this Grand Prix there. And yeah, unfortunately, that, although it certainly wasn't going to be the be-all and end-all of this Grand Prix, was certainly going to set me back a little bit more than I would have liked there. 1 lap later, though, Vulcan dives into the pit lane then for his stop in this Grand Prix, obviously onto a set of the hard compound tyres as well. Basically, everyone was going to have to use a set of the hards in this Grand Prix, unless you make a 2-stop work here, which is, honestly, in hindsight, probably not a gamble that a lot of people wanted to make in this Grand Prix, especially myself here in the early stages. But yeah, coming back out then, lap 12 even, I should say, of the Grand Prix, still obviously now back up into P1 of this race. And we have been able to build up a little bit of a gap over Joker over the last couple of laps, and now we'd really be trying to settle ourselves down for the long haul here. Getting used to that front wing damage, it wasn't costing me too much. It was definitely sort of half a second or so a lap, I'd imagine. But yeah, it certainly wasn't the be-all and end-all of this Grand Prix nonetheless there. And you can see over the next couple of laps, the gap to Joker would really start to hover, settle down at about the 4-second margin, and we were much more focused on Vulcan behind him here. You can see 3.1 seconds as we head onto lap 14, and now 1 lap later, just 1 lap later, you can see the gap as we head over the start-finish line once again. We were consistently, around the low 44s at this stage of the day. The gap to Joker, 4.0, and Vulcan only half a second taking that for us on that lap there. So really, he was trying to keep his tyres in check as well there. 144.3 once again as we now head on to lap 16. The gap to Joker, 4.1. The gap to Vulcan, down to just 1.5 seconds. So yeah, he was really going for it at this stage of the day. I was thinking 10 laps to go. This was looking like Vulcan's race, I'll be honest with you guys. And you can see onto lap 17 now. He had actually made the jump on Joker as well now in this Grand Prix. But this is where the race would take a bit of a turn, hopefully for me, for the better. You can see as we head down the start-finish straight, Vulcan and Joker would actually, Joker wasn't giving up on this place. He definitely felt the podium, or at least the 2nd place even, I should say, was definitely still on the table there as we make the long run down towards turn 1. He was not giving up on it, actually getting back down the inside as we head down in towards turn 1 there. And that was hopefully really going to work out in my favour here in this Grand Prix, because we needed these guys to have a bit of a battle here, because Vulcan, he was taking a lot of time out of myself, and if Joker was still going to be, continuously going for it, that was just hopefully going to be for me. They were going to start tripping over each other there. Another 1 minute 44.1 as we head on to lap 20 here. In the gap, you can see Vulcan had brought it down to about 3.5, and now it was back up to 4.5 seconds in this Grand Prix here. And over the next couple of laps, you can see 5 laps to go now of this race. Now to 4 laps to go, it was up to 4.6. So not only now was, we were starting to build up a little bit of margin, Vulcan, yeah, between the pair of them, wasn't even able to take any time out of me at the moment as well here. And as we head on to lap 23 now of this Grand Prix, just 4 laps to go, the gap had jumped up by yet another second here. It was actually now Joker back into P2 of this Grand Prix as well there, and that was really working out well in my favour there. And unfortunately for Vulcan, not too sure what happened between him and Joker as we head down in towards turn 2. Very easy mistake to make down in towards turn 2. I don't know if he just missed the braking point, there was contact between the pair of them, or what there. But unfortunately for Vulcan, he would have to use the escape route there. Don't think he picked up any damage from it, but yeah, that would basically put him out of race winning contention here in this Grand Prix, because, well, unless something went horribly wrong for both myself and Joker here. As we head out onto the final lap of this Grand Prix here, you can see the gap to Joker as we head in towards this final lap was still at, what was it down to now? Come down to about 3.8 seconds here, 3.0 I think, as we head over the start-finish line there. So Joker was still certainly going for it here. I was really, really just trying to will the car home, drag it through these final couple of laps there. Vulcan was another 10 seconds back, so yeah, unless something went catastrophically wrong on this final lap, it was definitely looking between me and Joker here. And for those of you guys that, you know, kept up with this channel for a long time now, you'll remember Baku season 14? We choked that race on the final lap. The rain had started to come. It was my first season with no line. We actually choked heading down in towards turn 2 there. It was going to be my last win of AOI. Now, we haven't actually won since that Grand Prix. And yeah, I was really, that was sticking in the back of my mind a lot as we head in towards the final lap of this Grand Prix. And I was really, trying to take it slow there, trying to just will the car home. You can see almost actually turning in too early as we head through the castle section once again here. And yeah, just praying everything everything held on. The tyres were certainly starting to get worn out, everything like that. We just really wanted, and I'll be honest, really sort of needed this win as well for our title fight nonetheless there, as we head down the hill one final time here in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. They're braking at the 100-meter board for the final proper braking zone of the lap here. The gap to Joker down to 2.8 seconds here, so we were still pushing right the way through to the end of this race there, whether I picked up a penalty or anything like that there. And through the final couple of corners then, the long run down towards the start-finish line here. And finally, 658 days later after my final race victory in AOR, Season 14, the Spanish Grand Prix, we come through, and it is P1 again at last. I'm so happy with that one there. I think my 14th race victory in AOR F1, it might be 15th or 16th. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. They're 2.6 seconds clear over Joker at the end of the day, and we desperately needed that win after the Chinese Grand Prix last time out. And hopefully, coming into the next couple of rounds, that was really going to try and help me out with, a lot of momentum going into Spain next time out. A track that I don't enjoy, but pace is often quite good around there, so hopefully we can try and continue on that form here in Season 18 as well. And Monaco as well, obviously the track that I got through onto esports, and then Canada, where I scored, most of my points in Season 16 as well there. We took the win 2.6 over Joker, 14.4 ahead of Vulcan as well there, with Ben, the ever consistent Ben, coming through in P4 there. And we had Iron Weasel all over the back of my teammate Jamie183 here. Is he going to be able to hold on as we head down in towards the start-finish line there? He's going to try and give himself the run, and yes, just about. Jamie does hold on. Unfortunately, a bit of desync meant the Weasel did get the place there, but Jamie was P7 at the end of the day there. As you can see, yeah, really happy with that one there. Constant Ryan comes through in P9 as well at the end of the day there, and I think it's going to be Kezimoto in the Williams there, picking up another point in the World Championship there. Schweiz, Alex Bover and Hamilton all not making it through to the end of that Grand Prix there. And X-Power, after that unfortunate mistake at the start, they would come through for P6 at the end of the day there. But yeah, really happy with that one. GG's to Joker as well there. Been a bit of a dark horse in that Grand Prix, I'll be honest. I wasn't going into that one, I wasn't expecting Joker, 100% honest, to be my main rival, but his pace has really come along a lot in the last couple of rounds there, so I look forward to hopefully having more battles with him over the rest of the season. He certainly kept me honest throughout a lot of that Grand Prix as well there. And obviously this race victory, wearing that pink helmet in that Grand Prix, does go out to Anton Hubert even, sorry, I should say, at the end of the day. That Antoine Hubert, obviously, after that unfortunate incident last time at the Belgian Grand Prix, we were running the pink helmet in memory of him as well in that Grand Prix. Yeah, that one definitely is a win to dedicate to him at the end of the day there. But it's P1 again, finally, in AOR. Really happy with that one there. And yeah, hopefully, I think that does move myself back into P3 in the Constructors World Championship as well. Sorry, in the Drivers World Championship. Haas with P2 in the Constructors. There are 6 points separating the top 3 teams there. One warning throughout that Grand Prix as well. We will certainly take that one there. And a 42.8, considering that was right at the start of the Grand Prix, I will certainly take that one there. I had a Joker, Vulcan, Ben Humperdinck, X-Power, Weasel, Jamie, Constant Ryan, Kezimoto, with Schweiz, Bova and Hamilton all not making it through to the end of that Grand Prix there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. Apologies for the lack of content so far this week. We are actually going to hopefully be having a bit more variety coming to the channel in the near future as well. But you guys will see that when it does all drop as well. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching this video. Get yourself subscribed if you're new around here as well and you do want to see more content from this channel. But yeah, that is it for now, and hopefully I will see you guys next time for round 5 of the season at the Spanish Grand Prix.